Hi, welcome to Box on a Box Rock and Celluloid, Botbrack for short. So, gonna rank some more albums. So the band Dream Theater have 15 albums, so nice round number there. Let's have a look. So my number 15 choice, this won't be a surprise, is then a 2016 double concept album, The Astonishing. This is 130 minutes long. It's kind of 2112 meets the Hunger Games to me. Star Wars, Game of Thrones. I don't know why they did this, why they felt the need to do a massive concept album when they've already done a kind of genre defining one. But it's too jolly for me, it's too long, it just doesn't work. And it's just something I just couldn't get into it. So that's my number 15 choice. My number 14 choice is A Dramatic Turn of Events. So this album, I quite like this when it came out, but basically this is the first time with Mike Magnani on drums after Mike Portnoy's left. I think really the purpose of this is to show that they can make an album that can carry on without their founder member. I mean, it's on the Backs of Angels opening track, Bridges in the Sky. There's some nice stuff on this, but it's just nothing stands out really. I think one of the problems as well is I don't like Magnani's drum sound, and I still don't like it. I actually don't like his feel as much, although it's got better. So that's what's missing from this in the Mike Portnoy context, is the feel and the tone there. But that's my, like I say, number 14 choice. No surprise, so number 13 is their self-titled album, that comes after this. This is better, the production's better, and I think In the Enemy Insiders and The Looking Glass is two excellent tracks there. And I like Along for the Ride, which is just a nice sort of poppy 6/8 feel, a bit Kansas-ish. It's good when the band writes songs that are under 5 minutes and just try and put a good hook in. I think for me, the Illumination Theory, the big piece at the end, which has almost got the cinematic string section in the middle part of it, is it the Embracing Circle section? I just couldn't get into that. Good rhythm guitar sound of this, so it's a better sounding album. So that's my number 13 choice. My number 12 choice, you can kind of see a pattern here, is 2009's Black Clouds and Silver Linings. This is the last album with Mike Portnoy, only 6 tracks on this. Opens with A Nightmare to Remember, which I'm not really into. A Rite of Passage is okay. Wither was a bit trippy, but it was decent. Then there's The Shattered Fortress. Again, this is another one of Mike Portnoy's 12 Steps lyrics about his alcoholism, and although you understand what he's been through and he wants to exploit the lyrics, it's just not something I am massively keen on listening to. But the album finishes off with 2 tracks I really like. There's The Best of Times, that although it's a bit Red Barchetta, a bit jolly, not that there's anything wrong with Red Barchetta, it is a really touching song, and the end solo by Petrucci is worth the price of admission alone. It's absolutely incredible. It's absolutely one of his best solos. I would actually say it's my favourite solo of the 21st century, probably. And then The Count of Tuscany is a really unusual track for the band. I really like the lyrics. I like the sort of story. So that's number 12. My number 11 choice is 2005's Octavarium. This is an album that doesn't get a lot of love. Opens with The Root of All Evil, which is okay. But then The Answer Lies Within's nice. Don't Like These Walls. I Walk Beside You is an attempt at a really poppy track, but just doesn't work. And there was Panic Attack and Never Enough, which, interesting lyrics on Never Enough, but just kind of doing that Muse thing. But I do think the last 2 tracks are really strong. Sacrifice Sons, a really good 10-minute epic about the September 11 attacks. And then Octavarium. This is them doing a big track, 24 minutes. But I think it works, and it's got a lush Petrucci sort of Gilmore style solo on the end. So it's a funny one, those albums, The Astonishing aside, those albums from number 14 through to 11 are kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? They're fairly interchangeable in terms of what I think of them, really. So my next choice, this is number 10, is 1997's Falling Into Infinity. Now I bought this at the time, also I was very excited, I was a big Dream Theater fan. But Kevin Shirley came as producer, but and Derek Sherinian on keyboards for his only appearance on the album. Yeah, I don't know what's... This album just, it's weird, it's kind of caught between two stools. There's bits where they're trying to be progressive, and then you can feel the hands of the record label trying to get them to do tracks that might give them a Pull Me Under style hit, and this caused like a lot of problems, and enough was enough after this, and then they insisted, they would produce themselves and do what they wanted to do. It opens with New Millennium, which is... It's a good track, but it's not a great Dream Theater opener. It's nowhere as good as 6 O'Clock or Fortune and Lies or Pull Me Under. Then you've got You Not Me. Now this is controversial because Desmond Child co-writes this. Again, you feel the hands of the record company. But I actually like this track. I think it's got a really moody verse, and I think the chorus is good. And Peruvian Skies, which is good. Nice solo on this. I should say, this is some of Petrucci's weakest lead playing. I don't think he's inspired him, and he was absolutely blowing off the roof on the previous 2 albums, and then after this, just truly great stuff. But I don't know, there's not a massive standard here. Hollow Years, yeah, it's got a really nice, clean, nylon string guitar line, but I don't really like it when Dream Theater do these kind of tracks. You got Burning My Soul, which, again, it seems to be trying to do something more catchy, but doesn't totally work. And then Hell's Kitchen, probably one of their weakest instrumentals. You almost forget it's there. I should have mentioned actually there's an instrumental on the Dream Theater self-titled, which is actually pretty good fun. Then you got Lines in the Sand. This has got Doug Pinnick doing some vocals on this, I think. Again, 12 minutes, but doesn't really go anywhere to me. Take Away My Pain. Don't really like this. Just Let Me Breathe's quite interesting. And then a really cool ballad, Anna Lee. Trail of Tears. Not really bothered with that. So, this, I'm reading through it now, maybe I'd rather listen to Black Clouds or Dream Theater. Maybe I'll put this lower, actually. Maybe because I had it at the time. But I saw them live on this tour, and they sort of lost a bit of spark, which, happens and needs to reset. Okay, so my number 9 choice is probably my favourite of... Well, not my favourite recent albums, but it's Systematic Chaos. I think In the Presence of Enemies is good, not great, but I do like it. But I think Forsaken's a really good piano part. Constant Motion manages to be really heavy, fast, fierce and catchy, and I like that. And then The Dark Eternal Light's really cool and I like the lyric. I think that works well. Repentance, again, Mike Portnoy doing his 12 Steps thing, but it's quite a nice sort of proggy sort of feel. I like the sort of samples and the sort of spiralling nature of the progression on that. Prophets of War, they're going into their Muse sort of phase there, it doesn't work. Ministry of Lost Souls and In the Presence of Enemies Part 2, kind of, the 40 minutes is 16 minutes, but I don't know, they kind of don't stand out as much to me. But the tracks I like on this, I really like. I think as Dream Theater albums go on, sometimes you tend to get songs, you'll get like 2, 3, 4 gems, but you don't have the consistency of earlier albums for me. But that's just my take. Next, might be controversial, this, I'm going for Scenes from a Memory. If I'm honest, I never totally got on board with this. I think because I'm an Operation Mindcrime fan. Operation Mindcrime has Bells and Whistles production, as does The Wall. This, although it's not cheap sound, it just feels the dialogue bits and things like that. I'm not totally into the plot, but Through My Words is not that one. Sorry, Through Her Eyes has got some beautiful guitar on it. And Fatal Tragedy. Home's really good. You've got that great riff on that. Actually, Overture got a great Lydian riff on that as well. One Last Time, The Spirit Carries On, Finally Free. There is some epic stuff, epic soloing. I think there's bits, and this is where Jordan Rudess brings in his, there's something like that where they're putting these sort of, comedy stuff like The Sting or something. And I don't totally get on board with that. But this album did very very well. It is a fan favourite. I just always preferred kind of Dream Theater doing shorter songs, really, with some long, kind of more like the Images and Words Awake thing. Okay, so that's my number. What am I up to? Number 8 choice. Number 7. Sorry, I'm going for A View from the Top of the World. I think I've really enjoyed this. I think massively benefited from Andy Sneap mix. Petrucci's guitar sounding great. Much better drum sound. The Aliens cool. Invisible Monster. Sleeping Giant, Transcending Time, it's catchy tracks, Waiting the Master, some strong songs on here. Again, there's a long track at the end, A View from the Top of the World, and sometimes it's like, I understand the need to do that, but, you could, the album's 70 minutes long, you could have just done a couple of shorter tracks, and, but I do think it's good. I think they've had a little nice kind of spot recently, a lot of chart placings on this, cool album cover. Liked it, yeah, that mix is great. So my number 6 choice is, again, quite controversial. This, what's the word I'm looking for? Fans kind of can be a bit marmite on this. It's Train of Thought, very heavy album. But I like it, I think, because, again, it's got 7 tracks. It just seems a little quite focused. You got As I Am, which has got a really cool riff. This Dying Soul. Endless Sacrifice, excellent. On a Life Father. Don't Like Vacant. Stream of Consciousness, again, 11-minute instrumental, but it doesn't totally do it for me. But In the Name of God, really good, really strong lyrics. So kind of 5 really strong tracks on this, pretty consistent. I've always liked it. Yeah, kind of, it's one of those ones people who like it, really like it, but people who don't, they just find it too heavy. Okay, so my number 5 choice, again, this is controversial, but it's their debut album, When Dream and Day Reunite. When Dream and Day Unite. I had this album back in the day. Not when it first came out, it was about 1991 I heard it. So I've always liked it. Production aside, and Charlie Dominique's vocals aside, which are actually okay. But I do think it's got good songs. Fortune Lies, Status Seeker, Yitchy Jam, Killing Hand, really good songs. Not for Light of Fuse and Get Away, Afterlife's excellent, and One Has Helped to Set Us in Only a Matter of Time are good. Worth listening to the live sort of versions of these songs of Le Bray. The songs are there, and it's only 51 minutes 25. It still has its prog cake and eats it, but it doesn't feel the need to be really long. Okay, my number 4 choice it's my blood pool. It's Distance Over Time. This is their second and most recent album. I thought this, again, really good mix. I'm not sure. Let me just see, recording, mixing. Guy called Ben Gross, but Petrucci's guitar sound on this was great. Getting back to that top Mesa Boogie triaxis sound that he had on the Images and Words. Untethered Angel, I wasn't into as much. Paralyzed was good. Fall Into Light. Barstool Warriors, good, really interesting lyric. Room 137, like that. There's SN2, which is good. Wits End was interesting. Out of Reach. Really like Pale Blue Dot. And interestingly enough, it's got a bonus track of Viper King, which is actually a lot of fun. It's kind of Deep Purple-ish. They're obviously going to do a Speed King Motorbike song, and it's a lot of fun. And the album's only 60 minutes long with that track on. Okay, that's long for other bands, but it was just nice to hear them go back and do an album more like their first 2 albums, first 3. Actually, I mean, Awake's a long album, but I do like this record. I do like the sound of it. I was kind of yin and yanging, really, across Train of Thought, A View from the Top of the World, When Dream of Day Night, And my next choice, which is, 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence. So this is the kind of conceptual album that comes after Systematic Chaos. Not systematic, I mean Scenes from a Memory. But I like this. It's The Glass Prison's cool. Obviously, it's another Mike Portnoy 12-step song, but I do like it. Blind Faith, Misunderstood. Great debates, excellent. Really good debate about stem cell and stuff like that. And then Disappear is really good. So, it's kind of three really standout tracks on that side. And then on side 2, you've got the 42-minute epic with the 8 parts that link up together, which is really good. all the band are on top form. It's quite interesting that they kind of, they've come off that big concept album. They've gone, well, let's make a double album and, let's kind of keep the concept thing going, but more on a loose thing. So that's my third choice. Again, I'd say from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I could have mixed those up. I'm kind of leaning to the new stuff quite a bit. So no surprises really. I grew up in the Images and Words Awake era. My second choice is Awake. There is flaws to this album, but I do really like it. I kind of prefer this era of Dream Theater. Petrucci's amazing on it. Loads of good songs. Rotomania, their best instrumental for me. Lie, catchy heavy track, 6 o'clock, the excellent Scarred. And then of course number one, no surprise. Most fans, it's either this album at number one or Scenes from a Memory. And of course it's Images and Words. Pull Me Under, probably the all-time greatest Dream Theater track. It manages to be progressive, have great sections, but it's also catchy. Another Day, not always a Dream Theater power ballad fan, but it's lovely. Take the Time, catchy track. Surrounded, nice sort of catchy proggy track, and then two classics, Metropolis Part 1, and then the stunning Under a Glass Moon, probably my other favourite Dream Theater track. Lovely piano ballad, Wait for Sleep, and then Learning to Live. So that's my number one choice. So there you go. That's the 15 Dream Theater albums ranked. I'm sure people will disagree and agree or whatever. So remember, share and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you very much.